Welcome to the Higher Energy Superpower. This is episode 30 of the Turbo Duo Cast. My name is Salvatore Mata, and to my left is my brother from another game show lover. He is the oral assassin. He puts the ass in claim. It's Trenton right the third.
I did that to you.
That was subpar.
Esquire. Esquire.
That was subpar.
I felt like Adam Carolla when he introduces Dr. Drew.
Oh,
with the banana and the hammer
and the doctor and
yes, yeah, the board certified sufficient. And also returning with us is Turbo Duo and a half, Salvatore Superstar Soccer Mata in the building. Number one stunner, losing teeth, right, left, and center.
but winning in life.
Yes. How many teeth have you lost?
5.
Oh my lord!
I'm not sure you said it loud enough. And
5.
special guest of the show returning by popular demand. It's the manly manager himself. Do not call him white because that's a lie. It's Ryan Brown. Welcome, Ryan.
Ryan Brown.
What's wrong? We're excited to have you here.
Oh, no, just the intro through me.
Well, don't speak for everyone. I'm not really that excited.
Well, welcome, guys. Well, thank you for being here. We're excited to spend an hour or two with you, and as we like to say, wallow in the mud a little bit. We're going to be talking about Cruis'n USA today, as you're seeing by the title.
No, we're talking about Cruis'n USA.
USA. A little hacksaw Jim Duggan in there. So we're going to be talking about some of the history of that game, and we really want to focus on that compared to some of its contemporaries at the time, and what made Cruis'n USA special. If there's any criticisms of it, and maybe some of our memories at the same time. So we're going to start today. We're gonna start. We're gonna go up a ramp here. We're gonna slowly kind of enter,
Like Tony Hawk Pro Skater ramp.
Correct, which I hear is really good. I don't know, the new one I hear is really.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah.
I hear is really good. So
It's stuntastic, straight out the plastic.
So what are you guys playing right now? What's getting your juices flowing, so to speak?
Whoa, I don't think we're gonna be talking about that kind of playing.
No.
I know what mine is.
What are you playing right now, Sal?
He's playing y'all because he's getting Monet.
Yeah, the Tooth Fairy has provided, I guess, some.
Came and went, and then came back.
Provided some green. Yeah, she's come back like 4 times in a row.
No, 5.
Oh, 5. Okay.
Like Booker T, 5 times.
Yep. And now you can get that Battlegrounds you wanted to get, right? WWE.
2K. Wait, it was 2K22 Battlegrounds for the PS5. I really want it, and it has one of my favorite WWE superstars on the front.
I swear, if you say The Miz, I'm gonna flip this table.
It's not the Miz. It's
What's wrong with the Miz?
Everything.
All right.
Rey Mysterio.
Oh, he's on the front cover of like the special edition.
So wait, is it
No, it's 2K22.
2K22 or is it?
No, it's just 2K22.
Battlegrounds.
Battlegrounds is like a whole different game.
2K22.
But you were watching the Battlegrounds one too.
Oh yeah, Battlegrounds.
That's like the cartoonish style.
Yeah, it's almost like an
guys are
NBA
huge.
Jam-ish style of game.
They're huge. The guys are huge.
Like super deformed in a way.
WWE,
Yeah, like big head mode type
WWE
stuff. Yeah.
All Stars, kind of.
I just
Probably better than WWE All Stars.
No, All Stars is pretty good. Have you played it?
I'll be the judge of that. No, I haven't.
All right, well then there you go. Out the window.
Now I have enough money for that game.
Nice.
Okay, did you say what you're playing right now though? You just said what you're excited about.
Oh, so everybody knows we're just talking about wrestling WWE. I love wrestling. I love it.
We still haven't gotten to what he's playing right now. Just so that everybody knows.
Well, it's leading up to it. It's the anticipation.
That's right.
Building up.
The game that I like right now
Oh, you gonna get into it?
is pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling on the Sega Master System. That's right.
It's a deep cut for a
For a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So
I like playing as the Great Master.
one of the pickups I'm going to talk about allowed us to play pro wrestling on the big screen here, and so Sal, we exposed him to pro wrestling for the first time because he knows the Nintendo version of pro wrestling, but he's never played the Sega version. And the first thing he said when he saw, why is this guy crunching his head into his armpit?
Oh, you mean the headless wrestler on the front?
Yeah.
It looks like he just ripped his head off and squished his head.
His own head.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So what do you like about pro wrestling, Sal? What are you enjoying with that game?
I think that I don't really know yet. Maybe
You just like wrestling so much that when you get to play it on a game.
When the guy goes into the ropes, you can do a karate kick or a karate punch. Yeah, so like
It's got snappy action, right?
yeah.
It's got very snappy action. Like when you're
Very
when you
snappy.
punch and kick, you can you almost feel it.
Yeah, there's a
and
contact.
There's a-
And if you go,
It's almost like Streets of Rage. When you hit, you're getting that feeling, that feedback that's telling you you're actually doing something that is effective.
and when you go to the ring, you can see a chair or no chair there. If there's a chair there and your guy's in the ring, you get disqualified, and then you're back inside the ring.
And when they hit with the chair, it takes like half your life off. Like it completely demolishes the guy. So you got.
I hit my dad, and it took so much life off of him.
That's right. Well, that's cool. Trenton, what about you? I know that you've been doing some stuff in the modding game, which we're going to talk about soon here. But anything in particular, anything specific that you're playing right now that you want to share with the
To be specific, over the Pacific. Just playing one game. Well, I mean, I tried it out the other day, so I guess that counts as playing it. Which is the masterpiece known as Warlock
Oh,
for the Sega Genesis.
wow.
Which is, I got it for like $9 because the case is a little beat up.
It's a claim, so you know you're not going to know what it's going to be.
Yeah, that's exactly 50-50, like more like a 70-30 chance.
That it'll be bad?
Yeah, which is fine. But yeah, it's a pretty solid game actually. I mean, it's based on the movie, which I know nothing about anyway. So
I watched it at Jason Fabricki's house when I was 10 years old, and that's why I'm the way I am today.
because of this game,
Because of watching the movie and then playing it a year later at Pat Musen's house.
it's why I turned out the way I am. It's all because of this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like just your kind of standard like side scrolling. You know, jump up and down, find something, kill enemies. So you have like a little.
Are there platforms?
Yeah. So you have like this little like floating orb around you. That's kind of one of your power ups. So you press the button and with the directional pad, and it'll like take enemies out you can't reach, or like grab power ups you can't reach. So you have to collect like 6 different like magic orbs at the end of each level to complete the game. But at least there's passwords because it's one of those games where you kind of figure out the pattern of everything and then get to the end and figure out the pattern of the boss. And then, so then you can like learn it and just kind of like breeze through. That's what happened. I got through like the first level, but I only had like 1 life left. So then like the second time around, I just kind of like
you can use the password.
Yeah, I just kind of like breezed through the level and then got to the boss, and then you kind of learn their pattern. Yeah, it's a pretty solid game for, I mean, it's nothing crazy special, but it's Warlock.
I mean, it's worth a shot, right? I mean, anytime you see that, I think anytime you see like a platforming style game, it's always worth a shot if you're going to get it for cheap, because a platformer is like that. You're entering a world. It's not like a sports game, or it's not like something that is a puzzle game where you're like, I'm not really into that. It's like, there's kind of an adventure there, so you can kind of get lost in that world a little bit.
Yeah, it has like a good like atmosphere to it. It's that kind of like afterlife kind of feel. Yeah, it's a solid playthrough.
Nice. I'm glad that you are able to have some time to play some games. I know you're usually on the prowl for stuff more than having actually ability to sit down and play.
I played it like one day this week for like an hour.
But see,
that was about it.
That's why you need to get a Nomad, man.
I don't know if that would help.
You get home from work. You get the bubble bath going. And you
sitting there with a Nomad.
No, like you get
You
lab.
also have your toilet time.
Yeah,
I mean, Some guys read magazines, some guys crack out a Nomad.
Yeah,
you know?
but what I'm
Get
trying
all
to say
lathered
is,
up.
what I'm trying to say is, you
In the toilet?
you lather yourself up. You wash yourself, you dry yourself. You get some nice, comfortable cotton clothing on.
Wear your bathrobe after?
Like a nice pre-shrunk cotton T-shirt.
Yeah,
It's my silk robe. I just put it on.
You grab yourself a snack, you brush your teeth, whatever, blah blah blah. Get a glass of water. You sit in bed, and then
You doing all those things at once? You're grabbing a snack, brushing your teeth, and getting a glass of water?
well,
You like don't know which order to do what? Am I drinking? Am I brushing? Am I eating?
in the movie Dodgeball, Vince Vaughn is drinking a Yoo-hoo and brushing his teeth at the same time. So,
Well, that's on him.
yeah. Well,
that chocolate drank.
my point is, at the end of the night, after you're done with all of your particulars and all the standard things you have to do, you're either going to watch a show or whatever. But it's the magic of like the Nintendo Switch, right? You sit in bed and you play a game, and you can actually kind of dive into something like that if you've got the Nomad. If you don't, it's like, well,
If you don't have the Nomad, what are you
the
doing?
whole system up. You got to have this massive light.
Well, and let me preface this here, because for me, all of my video game stuff is in a separate room from my bedroom.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like I have a Genesis hooked up where I can play before
yeah.
bed.
Yeah, because mine's on my TV in my room. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, different situations. I understand.
So if you don't have video games in the bedroom, I think the Nomad is a great alternative. If you're into the Genesis,
The Nomad's
stuff.
a great alternative to anything, basically.
It really is. Like, when it comes to the Nomad, when you get one, you want three more. Well, I was telling you this, right? It's just like the Nomad is a kind of thing. It's what connect me and your buddy Nomad Steve, who gets his name because
It's in the name.
Yeah, he had I think he had 8 or 9 at one point.
again,
They didn't even
remember.
make that many.
proves my point. Yeah,
Every time we got
didn't.
one, that's how I became friends with him, though, is because I met him from literally every time we got a Nomad, he'd come in and buy it, and then just that.
What a maniac!
And that's how our friendship started, and yeah,
You could have gone in one direction, but you decided to go in the other direction. You could have run for the hills. Like, this guy is a weirdo. What is he doing with all these Nomads?
yeah. But I'm just like, he seems quirky in a fun way. Let's hang out. Let's talk.
Let's see what happens. I might end up in a ditch somewhere. Or,
Hey, it's one of my best friends now. So I
know. I know. You put it all on black and you hit. So, well, good. So speaking of the Nomad, one of the things, really the only thing that I'm playing right now is my 2.5 year long trek with this little number here, which is Phantasy Star 2, which I'm still working through. I'm finally into the final dungeons. I've got maybe another, probably 15 hours to go, just because of
another year and a half.
Yeah. Just
grinding.
The grinding is ridiculous. Like I said, I at one point fell asleep with this thing on my chest because I was just playing from, whatever time and fell asleep. So
You did?
I did. I fell asleep with the Nomad on me.
What a way to go.
The one thing I wanted, and it's a phenomenal game, but it's just the original cartridge has so much grinding. It's just a lot of these games. I think of like Skies of Arcadia. The better way to play that game is on the GameCube, where they kind of fixed a lot of those issues where it's so grind heavy.
Yeah, a lot of the older JRPGs run into that. It's their way of extending gameplay, but it artificially.
Don't get me wrong, I
extends
like
it.
a good grind. But it's put it on a T-shirt. Like, I like a good grind.
Yeah, but it has to have a satisfying nature to it. Like, you can't.
I don't know if you want that on a T-shirt.
Might get misconstrued.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, there has to be like some satisfaction to it. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm just beating the same enemies over and over. It's like if there's not any variation, to the enemies, or you're getting different different pickups, once in a while. Like, oh, maybe after I beat this enemy 10 times, I get the opportunity to get a rare pickup or something to make it more interesting and keep your attention throughout it, rather than just sitting there just trying to get to the right level so you can actually like somewhat competently,
we might have to have a conversation about that at some point, because there's games where you do a grind and you're just like, I can't stand this. And other games where you're just, it's almost like comfort food. It's like I'm gonna go home later and I'm gonna do my grinding to get to my next level so I can get to the next area of the game or whatever. And it's like there's something weirdly enjoyable about that, in certain games.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the other day, Liz, I took the cartridge, put it in the Genesis instead. So I went from, the Nomad to that. And she's sitting on the couch waiting for me to make coffee. And she's just like, when are we making coffee? And she's watching me play. And I'm just, I'm just going over and over into these battles. She's like,
Boring.
what the heck are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm casting Amber Rose so that she can heal up, and then this one's casting this thing to reduce damage by half, and then these two guys are battling, but then when they get hurt, then they're going to cast their Crescent Gear so that they can heal. And she's like, I'm going to be in the other room. Like, I completely lost her while nerding out at the same time, so it's, it is what it is.
It's the grind.
It's the grind. So, and the way that I usually like to play games,
Tell us.
is, well, my style with video games is to have 2 games running at the same time. The 2 games are usually something a little bit deeper, like an RPG, and then something like a Cruis'n USA, like we're going to talk about. Something that's just like quick, snappy, get into it, fun. You can pick it up, put it down. It's not going to take too much of your time. That's usually how I like to, put that together. Right now, my attention is fully devoted to Phantasy Star 2 and getting that done. And then I'll go back and play Phantasy Star 1 after that. So, what about you, Ryan? What are you into lately?
Currently, I'm still an Animal Crossing troll.
Besides Streets of Rage.
I get that in every week. That's just kind of a thing.
Wake up at 6:30 and pop it in, beat it by.
Well, that's the thing,
7:15.
is just because of when my time for gaming is. It's usually early in the morning or like late at night. So I usually I'm up at like 4 a.m. like a lunatic, and I'm like, hey, what's a really good thing to do right now? Streets of Rage. Let's play this for like an hour.
Yeah.
So
You play
I do
the first
that.
one?
Yeah. Still play it like once a week usually, like a weirdo, but I love it. And something about that intro just is like, it's just like you get that satisfaction. As soon as that synth comes in, I'm like,
Yes.
But I do that, and then I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. Just
Kind of like an RPG.
it is. It's very simplified, and it's pleasant. Nothing bad happened. You just tend to my crops. I got tomatoes the other day. I was like, oh, I got tomatoes.
Nice.
Yes. So like little things like that, which it's relaxing. But
that's the thing about video games, though, is like there's no nonsense of the real world. It's just you're in this place that is, I hate to say it, but it's kind of safe in the way of it's just you're the one who's responsible for what's happening there. Whereas the chaos and craziness of the world and all the things in school and work and just managing all that, and you're in this captured sort of bubble of an environment that you can kind of manipulate on your own and affect and watch grow over time and see real change happen from day to day.
Hey, Daddy,
What's up, buddy?
after I do my last game, can I leave the room?
Yeah, anytime.
Wait, what happened? Oh, I thought that was off.
No, it's on. Do you want to talk about your game? Mr. Ryan's almost done, and then we're going to talk about the games.
Oh, yeah.
You want to do that, and then you can leave? Okay.
So, my
Oh, no, go ahead, buddy.
So my last game is Aladdin.
Classic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's the first reference to Aladdin today. And
I love that you're going building to building, trying to wave your sword at guys, and trying to get to the what's the evil guy's name?
Jafar.
Jafar. Trying to
Defeat him at the end.
Yeah, try to defeat him at the end, and
Amazing game.
yeah.
That might, I don't know, maybe a top 10 Genesis game?
Damn, top 10?
Maybe?
I don't know about top 10. I would say top 25. No
Top
problem.
25?
No
Yo,
problem.
top 100, definitely.
Yeah, just
There are 100 great Genesis games, I would say.
I know. Just
Super Nintendo, maybe not. Genesis, yes.
Wow, I think we got another one on board.
I've tried a lot of them. I just,
What are you talking about?
Do Super
These
Nintendo.
one, or just Super Nintendo games in general?
in general.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
We can go on a tangent. I mean, I'm happy to. I'm happy to go on a tangent. Yeah, Aladdin's awesome.
Wait, so have you played? You played it, Aladdin, a little bit? No, yeah, sir, you.
Oh.
Hello.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're sorry, guys. We're gonna get back on the train here.
Hello.
You've seen Daddy play it,
yeah.
Oh, so you haven't really played? You haven't tried it yourself, really?
No.
but he sees
No.
he sees the animation.
No, I
and
mean, I
he
got
knows
you.
how good the animation is, and it looks just like the movie, doesn't it, buddy?
Yeah.
And
the
that's
game
a
better
seven
than the movie.
7-year-old in 2022 saying that a Genesis game looks like the movie. Although I just put the words in his mouth. He told me that the other day.
Well, yeah, because
So-
it's it's a cartoon. So,
But they actually had Disney animators on it.
Yeah, it's all hand drawn. They just digitized the hand drawn animation.
it was they were just coming out with those blockbusters at that time.
I think
you
that
know, the Lion King.
Oh,
I think the Jungle Book was supposed to be
the
pretty
Disney
decent.
Resurgence.
Yeah,
Beauty and the
Toy
Beast.
Story. Like,
Yep.
I think the Aladdin game is better than the movie. Probably would be.
maybe.
You might not be wrong. I don't know.
I would say he's got a fair point.
He kind of does.
I like the third one more than the
Kids
first
know
one
best.
for the movies, so I can understand that.
third one. What?
Aladdin movie.
There's a third Aladdin movie.
There's only one, really. Come on.
It's so good. King of Thieves. As Aladdin's dad, Robin Williams comes back as the genie.
No, I don't know this.
Oh, I will have to bring it over for you to watch. It is.
Wait,
On
there's 3
VHS.
movies?
There's 3 movies.
Oh, what?
I have it on VHS. If
We
you,
gotta go on Disney Plus.
it's very. It's,
I don't think it's on Disney Plus.
it is. It's hard to find. See, that's the thing is Disney has all these older films from like the 90s and 2000s, but they don't have them on their featured list.
So you have to search.
You have to search for them manually, or you have to go to A to Z, and you're like,
Well, it's Aladdin at least, so it should be at the top.
yeah, it's at the top at least. But yeah, no. Return of Jafar, which the second one is.
Aladdin. Is that 2 L's or
Rough.
2 D's? Or 2 L's and 2 D's?
2 D's.
2 D's.
It's right there. I don't know if you saw it.
Okay. I never know how to spell that.
It's on the box.
Aladdin.
When I'm writing my emails about Aladdin,
Yeah,
I
all
never
those
know how to
emails.
spell it.
yeah. When I'm
Aladdin.
writing my reviews.
So while we're doing
Rotten Tomatoes,
the TPC report, let's talk about Aladdin, shall we?
when in doubt, it's always 2 D's.
And so you had this game, and you finally completed it
Just got the manual
today.
Yes.
Actually,
Yeah.
like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. So we always love complete games. The little guy always loves. It's not complete. I need it complete. I love hearing that from a 7.
Now you got 2 copies of Aladdin and pro wrestling.
Yes. No. Well, Sal has his own collection that we're starting.
I did my half.
Yeah. We're gonna get a shelf for him, and he's gonna start to build that collection, right?
Can we get the shelf from
Yeah.
not Home Goods,
Home Depot?
Hobby Lobby,
no, not
Home Depot.
Home Depot. Yes.
No, Home Depot is product of the devil. We're gonna go to Lowe's.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Oh, I don't know. Home Depot hates everything that's good, so we're gonna not go to Home Depot. We're gonna go to Lowe's because Lowe's is blue, and blue means royalty, and royalty means goodness.
What is orange?
I have no idea what I'm saying.
No, orange is Halloween.
Yeah, it's all Halloween. It's all demons and ghouls.
Yeah, wood.
You know.
Wooden screws and DeWalt power tools.
And Milwaukee drills.
And
Yeah.
bolts are Frankenstein.
All right, go on, get out of here.
Ah!
We'll see you later.
Bye bye.
Oh,
What is he, 2?
no, he's 7. Don't you know the age of your own kid?
I'll take that as number 2.
See ya.
All right.
See ya.
All right, now let's talk about fucking.
Jesus.
Gonna have to cut that out. Well, number 2 is correct because he is kind of a little poop. But anywho, anything else, Ryan, that you're playing?
Yeah. So I mean, besides the 2 obvious ones, I just restarted Dragon Quest Builders.
I heard a lot of good stuff about that.
When was Dragon Quest Builders?
It's basically almost like their Square's take on like Minecraft in a way.
Kind of, but you still maintain the RPG elements to a degree.
Which I kind of like.
It's
because I can't stand Minecraft. I can't stand Minecraft.
I can understand that. I was the same way, and then I was like, I'll give this a shot, and then I was like,
you got hooked.
it's 14 hours in. What have I done with my life? Anyways,
I built a box and I put a door on it.
well, it doesn't help that like what I'm going to school for is structures and building, and I'm like, oh, I can build anything you say, and I'm just like,
Just see how far I can dig down.
look at this structure. Oh my god, so many trusses on this. Oh. Just like in the corner freaking.
But then you fall down the hole, and then you can't get out. You're jumping, and you can't get out of the hole.
Yeah, you gotta like dig your own, make little steps.
There's tricks of the trade here. But anyways, with Dragon Quest Builders, it's pretty cool because the way the game functions is so you start off and there's levels which are basically predetermined worlds, and you're trying to save these worlds from the darkness or the Dark Dragon Lord. And the way you do that is by building. So the game actually rewards you for building and not from grinding, which is kind of cool. So normally with Dragon Quest, the more enemies you kill, the higher your level goes. Not so with builders. The only way you level up your character is by leveling up your little town or base that you live in. So the more, the better the rooms are, the more decorated they are, the more, safe your villagers are, things like that. You're rewarded for that with buffs to your character, so you can get better armor, better weapons.
Now, what's a buff? I hear this term. Is that just like a perk?
Power up.
A power up?
So yeah, buffing, anything that increases the
because normally when I know of buffing is not something we really want to talk about on the podcast.
Anything that increases the stats of your character.
Okay.
What kind of buffing are you talking about? What kind of buffing are you talking about?
I don't know. Isn't buff? You got the Buff Riders, right?
I don't
know that movie. Where's that on? What streaming service is that on? You're talking about buffing and waxing like your car? Like when you got to buff out a disc? I don't know what kind of buffing you're doing. I mean, we're talking about Buff Bagwell, the stuff.
The Rough Riders who always used to say, you ain't the Rough Riders, you the Buff Riders.
Oh. I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
Was that a skit on like Ride or Die Volume 1?
Somebody was making fun of him, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's great.
I have no idea who we're talking about.
That's even better.
I kind of don't. I just know it sounds dirty.
Rough Riders Volume 1, Ride or Die. The Locks, Chic Luch, Jadakiss. No, Dragon.
Words?
DMX.
I know the last one.
There we go. We got him.
I know he yells a lot. That's all I got for you.
I love that lost in translation type of a thing. You might as well be a 14-year-old Asian girl talking to him.
Okay.
Yeah. Where are we?
We were talking about Dragon
Quest Builder.
We're talking about Minecraft.
But
then we got into buffing and DMX.
And the Buff Riders, whatever that means.
Okay.
All right. Well,
isn't that what a train does when one train goes up against another train? It like buffs up.
You talking about Running Train?
Like you remember in like Thomas the Tank Engine, and it's like
he's like, hey, don't buff up on me. Thomas, no!
I know what drafting is. Like in racing.
Thomas! This isn't the time nor the place.
It's like Edward buffed up behind Thomas so they could get more power. So they could push the carts and go up the hill.
Help.
I'm so long. I've never heard this reference.
So what's the next game you got?
We're not in pickups yet.
Well, can we get there?
I don't know. We were talking about train yards now. I don't know.
What is it called when one train gets behind the other train and helps to push it?
I'm not a conductor. I don't know these things.
I'm pretty sure it's not called buffing.
My expertise is in games, not trains.
All right, talk about your Dragon Quest nonsense, and then I'm going to look this up here.
Because this is vital information.
This is really important.
Okay.
What's it called when two trains...
I can't. It's so derailed
It's called edging. Yeah, so
thank God you didn't say docking. I was gonna take it to a whole nother area. I was like, oh dear God, where are we going?
Docking.
Don't Google that, please. Please don't Google that.
Wait, so
okay.
what was the game you're playing?
Anyways, Dragon Quest Builders.
Oh, so you've already played through the game already?
No, I started it on my Switch, and I got, I think, to the third world. And then...
Is it a game that ends, or is it just like Minecraft? Where
It does end. So it actually has a story, and you just work your way through the levels. But my Switch, I murdered it.
It doesn't work?
So I tried to replace the because I was a light originally.
Like the backlight?
No, the Switch Lite, the smaller one that's handheld only.
Switch Lite.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
I tried to fix the drift on the left analog or the right analog stick.
Yeah.
And when I put it back together, the screen didn't turn on. So
you really blew it.
So it's just sitting now. So I bought a regular Switch. So I had to and then I was like, well, I'm already getting Dragon Quest 11 on PS4.
I know a guy who could probably fix it.
Okay. So I already switched everything over to PS4. So I started it on that, and I've just been playing through that. And I just finished the first world the other day. It's very fun.
So I didn't even know that game existed. I'm not up on the.
It came out like 7 years ago, something like that. 8 years ago.
It was an early PS4
game,
yeah.
right?
Oh, it was a PS4
and it got a
game.
very, very small print run on Switch.
Oh, all right.
But I'm not like up on like
The Switch.
PS4
The Switch version of one is around $50 used still.
and that came out when?
And the second
a few
one
years ago.
Yeah, and the second one, which came out recently, is down to like 40 already, which is crazy to me. So the first game is actually worth more. But yeah, regardless, it's a really fun series. It's pretty cool, and if you don't like Minecraft but you still want to have like the RPG with the building elements, it's really good.
So like a happy medium between an RPG and that building.
Yeah,
Because the building thing of like making all these structures and it's
see, I love that stuff.
Not for you.
This is why my friends don't play me in Age of Empires, because I'll spend my entire time working on the economy and the building, and then they'll send a whole army at me and like, Ryan, I've only gotten through layers 2 of 12 of your wall. This is really annoying. And I'm like, well, you're chasing waterfalls. It's not my problem because I don't want no scrubs.
Wow, listen to you. So are you a big SimCity fan?
Weirdly, no. I don't like SimCity. I don't know why.
You had to be there.
Get this guy off the podcast.
Yeah, no, because you had to be there.
Because I had SimCity 2000 as a kid.
Yeah.
And like I tried it, and I was just like, it wasn't as. And maybe it's because I was spoiled, because I had at that point we didn't game as much on consoles as we did on PC in like the mid 90s. So
You're one of those, huh?
yeah. So it's just what my parents could afford at the time and what we had. So because my dad needed a computer for work, so that's what we had. And I remember we were playing like old civilization sims, so like Civ 2 and stuff. So like I was more into that, so that's kind of why.
Gotcha.
We played SimCity at school.
It was above my pay grade.
In middle school, they had it on the computers there. We played that a lot. We'd all be like 3 of us. One person would play. No. Put the train tracks there.
Yeah.
And then do that. And we just half the time is just be like, all right, how do we destroy the city? Like have like a tornado come through and just wipe out the whole town.
Yeah, it's like
That should be right up your alley. You should try it out again.
I'm gonna have to. I do have
back
it
to
still
it.
for PS1. But yeah, the last
PS1 you got it with the mouse. Does it work with the mouse?
it does.
That would be the way to do it.
Get it on the Super Nintendo.
Or you could just play it on your PC.
I would say yeah, it's like $2 on Steam, I think. So
Yeah.
but yeah, the last game I've been playing is I actually played it in preparation for the episode, was Cruis'n Blast on the Switch.
Nice. And we'll talk about that. I think that's kind of a
Extremely good game.
full circle type of a thing as we talk about Cruis'n USA and some of its legacy. So, well, let's get into our pickups as briskly as we can. I'll probably go first if that's okay. Just go through some of the stuff that I got.
I guess.
If that's okay with you guys.
I mean, it's not, but I'm gonna let it happen.
Let me pull out this fat stack back here.
Pause.
This is about to fall over.
Oh my gosh.
Marona me.
Yeah, so couple of things. I've been doing some work. The first game here, it's loose. I know. Do not give me any kind of flack for it, okay?
Damn, loose, really?
It's Golden Axe Warrior. Now, it doesn't matter that I show you because all these Master System games are maroon.
You think it's Golden Axe Warrior until you put it in.
I put it in. I tried it out. Actually, Ryan tried it out at the store before I bought it from him.
Oh.
But yeah, this is the
Collusion.
This is the Zelda clone. This is the Zelda clone from Sega that they put out unabashedly in 1991, which is interesting because 91 to come out with this game when the Genesis was on fire. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't they just port this up?
Just boost it up to the Genesis?
Just boost it up to the Genesis and make it,
Not sure.
make it like a Zelda game on because it would have had way more capture in terms of sales potential.
No one was playing
The only thing I can think is just probably where it was distributed, maybe.
What, in Europe?
The Master System had much more draw in South America and Europe, so maybe because the Nintendo didn't have the pull there with Zelda, they thought, hey, we can monopolize on this down there. That's probably why it's so rare up here, because they didn't.
Yeah, so the Master System boxes that were sold in America it's just basically like the generic box that has a new UPC tag on the back on the plastic. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. It just has another. It goes over the original one.
Yeah.
I think Sonic the Hedgehog is the same way.
Yeah, because that was a Canadian release.
I think so.
Yeah.
So it just to know it's an American, but at this point we don't know what carts belong to which cases because of how much time has gone by. So you could be buying the case is an American, but you don't know what. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. If I can get my hands on a case, and manual, hopefully, but that's going to be a whole nother challenge. But that's why I always say, like, if you really love a game or you really want a game, for whatever reason, and you have to get a cart to start out, guys, these games are not really going down in price. Buy it. You can always sell it down the line. What's funny?
Nothing. Nothing's funny.
Well, you're laughing, so I mean,
I wasn't.
It tells me that you're.
I wasn't, sir.
I hear you.
We'll roll back the tape.
Ha-haing over there. I hear you. Case in point, here's my copy of Stinger, and just got the cover for it. I've owned this for probably 20 years. I just haven't owned it with the cover. It actually came with this Blue Stinger. I don't know if this is a GameStop
Size medium.
I don't know.
Cover, but I held on to it. Yeah, rating M. But Blue Stinger. If you don't know about it, check it out. It's Resident Evil for the Dreamcast essentially, and really strange because it's at Christmas time and there's the weird pen tri-salon characters involved. It's really strange.
Huh.
This game I picked up just a couple of days ago, and it's funny. Like, there was a lot of stuff that when I moved, I lost through the transition, and that was about 11 years ago. One of them was this game, and I only had it loose, but I knew how special it was back then.
It's wasting away in the attic.
It's probably wasting away in the attic at the Mata residence. But I was able to find this thing complete. It was a little pricey, but it was actually cheap for the condition that it's in and just in general. But it's the very limited Silent Bomber for PlayStation 1. And as you guys know, I'm not a huge PlayStation 1 guy, but there's some choice experiences on the PS1 that I just have to have. And I can remember when I saw this game on a kiosk in whatever it was, 1999, 2000.
Didn't they put that game on a kiosk?
They had this on a kiosk at...
Sears?
No, at Babbage's, actually. So I played this on a kiosk in 99 before the Dreamcast came out, because in our mall... GameStop got started right when the Dreamcast came out.
Buckland Mall,
which was probably August, September of 99 is when they moved upstairs from downstairs. And I distinctly remember this playing this downstairs when it was still Babbage's. So
was that the Babbage's that was like really small?
Yeah, it was kind of like in a corner.
It was below the food court.
Yes,
yeah.
And it had like the blinds that come down that were on both sides.
Yeah,
it was like across from Hanush Jewelers.
It was below the food court. I remember that.
Yeah. Well, I just.
Oh wait, no wait. I don't think it was.
I don't know. It was down. It was
in front of. All right. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was in front of JCPenney. Like the entrance to JCPenney, and it was a small little thing right
kind
here.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was on the bottom floor of the mall.
No, it's important.
But I mean, you look at this game, it's by Bandai, and the back just says old school run and gun action, stealth like tactics.
I know, it doesn't really like
mission based gameplay, over 26 missions. It doesn't tell you a whole lot. So I wouldn't have known about this game. Like, I found out about Tenchu on that kiosk. I found out about Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver on that kiosk. I remember when the manager was showing me, he's like, you got to look at the graphics on the Dreamcast, and you see Raziel and his head's going up, and you see the thing stretching with him where it wasn't doing that on PS1.
Yeah.
And so the kiosk was a way to get a lot of information about what games were coming out and be able to actually see them, because all we had was magazines. So I saw this game and I was like, that is awesome. When I get some money, I'm going to buy it. And I ended up finding it loose probably at the GameStop that was the Funko Land, which is where all the used games were. And I had it for the longest time, but then I lost it. So this is kind of like
now you pay the price,
coming full circle. Yeah, well, it is what it is. It's a absolutely pristine copy. There's a little crack in the case, but other than that, like all the art is just. It almost looks like they hid it away in like a safe somewhere for 20 years and then pulled it out and sold it. So. Not a bad strategy to build wealth, actually. Just buy video games, put them in a vault, and just wait 20 years. Next game, so I bought a lot online. Well, actually, it was a bunch of things that were loose that I ended up finding, and this gentleman named Jeff from Ohio sold me a bunch of stuff, and actually threw in his original model Sega Genesis as well, like TMSS. So like it doesn't actually have the the splash screen come
Oh
up.
wow.
So you can play like Double Dragon without any issues or whatever. There's some games that only work, I think, on that system. But it's just kind of a cool piece of history.
I thought we like debunked that the last time when you said that, and I was like, it doesn't sound right.
I don't think so. It seems to work fine whether as long as it says high definition graphics, that has the best hardware in it. It doesn't matter if it's the one that Jeff sent us or what, but people like to think that almost like the PS1, like the original PS1 that has the yellow, white, and red, which I think that is true.
It's
right.
Yeah, that
the
one.
Audio
it has the
is
best audio equipment, but the CD drive is crap.
Well, it's like plastic. The
Yeah,
casing is plastic.
The
or something?
control arm and the.
Can you get that replaced?
You can. It's not too bad because the nice thing with the PS1 is because the CD drive's not like. It's not like the PS2 where it's like it's its own housing. It literally is just on 3 little copper pegs on the board. You can just
Pop it out.
put the new one on. So
I should do that.
yeah.
I might have to have your boy out there. And is it Ohio as well?
What?
Where's it?
No.
Or Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
So, anyways, the game, and you're like, really? Don't you guys talk about this game all the time? Yes, but I don't own it actually in its physical form. I own it in the 6-pack, which you should have if you have a Genesis. Get a 6-pack. But that's Golden Axe, complete in the box. This is one it's got to have it. I mean, this is a game I grew up with. It was one of the first games I saw on Genesis, and made me one of the things that made me a Sega head was this game right here. Couple of pickups over at Retro Games Plus. Get all your games.
Well, not all of them.
At Retro Games. That's what you said the last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, when you kept interrupting us as we were talking.
You only get one promo. That's it.
All right, that's it. He's not budging. He is not budging. This it looks like a Genesis game, but it in fact is not a Genesis game. This is a Master System game called Bomber Raid, which is ready the sequel to River Raid on the Atari 2600. Did you know that?
No. Nobody knows that.
Not as good.
All that time.
Not as good.
And they couldn't make it better than a 2600 game?
Not as good as River Raid. It is actually one of the games that even if you play it on a Genesis with a power-based converter, you need a Master System controller to play it. There were only a select number of these Master System cases that came in different colors. Generally, they were by other studios. Like Rampage is the other one, and then this one's Black Cyborg Hunter is another one that's I think is black.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's not great. It exists. I want it. I got it. This game is really cool. When I saw you guys had this in the case, I was like, that's one I kind of it's more of a want than a need, but it's in my collection now, and that's Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, the Master System version. Everybody always talks about the Genesis version, but what's interesting about some of these later Master System releases, like 90, 91, is you look at Dick Tracy, you look at Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. There were some games that came out around that time that they actually made really, really good ports to the Master System. You almost have to look twice to see, oh, this isn't a Genesis game.
Oh, yeah, no. I remember when we plugged it in, I was just like, wow, this looks like a Genesis game.
Yeah, the music is good, and it's a competent game. It doesn't have the kids saying Michael, or that kind of thing. It doesn't have bubbles in it, pointing you to the end. But
it's typically a good thing when there's not little kids saying Michael. But I mean,
Well, that's a whole nother. That's an easy topic to get on.
Everybody loves little Michael.
I love the art too.
Hey,
like
little monkey.
That art with the with the rainbow effect and Michael's face. Like that's a pretty good. Like that would be cool as like a poster.
Oh, that is probably one of the best Master System covers they've done.
Yeah.
Have you played it? Have you
Very
played that
colorful.
one? You played it?
It's awesome.
I kind of want to. I'm intrigued. I kind of want to play it.
We should try it.
Try it out.
We should play it. Well, and we can now because I was able to finally pick. Remember, I was asking you about this. I picked up a DB Electronics Stone Age Gamer Power Base Mini, which allows us to play the Master System games on a Genesis 2, which is my choice setup. Is a 32X with the Genesis 2 VA4, if you can do it, and the Model 2 Sega CD.
Can you slap that into the 32X?
You cannot, and I don't even have enough height to get into there. So I just removed the 32X and put it on there, and then put the 32X back when I want to play. Let's be honest, NBA Jam TE is the only game I want to play with the 32X. But this thing's fantastic. It snaps. The cartridges snap right in, and it works flawlessly. I mean, it works great. You know, it comes in this really cool like Disney cartoon VHS case, which is really cool.
Yeah, they do the same thing for the
EverDrive
and the Jaguar one they put out.
But, you know, I've got a power-based converter, but it doesn't work on a Genesis 2 because I'd have to basically cut off a piece of the power-based converter to make the audio plug work, or the AV plug work. So this is a way I don't have to destroy that, and, you know, just a great way where they're kind of creating new things for old systems. And this has been around for, I think, 5-6 years.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been around for a while. This isn't the FM one. There is also one that plays the FM music from the Master System games, because most of the games that were released still had that in there, even though it was only in Japan that they produced that, which makes it's interesting. Like, Japan was one of the worst markets for the Master System, but yet they made the FM modulator or whatever for that market when you could have done it for these other places that had way more capture. But
so does the Genesis controller not work with all the games? Because why does it have?
There's only like 4 or 5 games it doesn't work with. Monsterland, Wonder Boy and Monsterland, Bomber,
They didn't make
Raid, and Alien Syndrome, I think, are the only.
They haven't made like a
significant ones.
converter to like put your Master System controller into the Genesis, like a cord converter or something like that.
No, you can put a Master System controller.
Yeah, it's the same pin.
Same pin.
Oh, okay.
Same
So
pin.
why does it have a pause button on it?
So the Master System controller doesn't have a pause button.
Oh, that's right. It's on the system.
It's on the system, so they actually
yeah.
have a pause button on the cart.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah.
Although I don't know if I'd ever want to press that because it could dislodge the game into the system, and then you get.
Nah, I don't think it would. Well, how else are you gonna pause it?
I've read that, you know, it works really well, but I don't know. I kind of don't want to test it. I don't know. Maybe I will. But anyway, so that's going to open up our possibilities. That's how we were able to play pro wrestling, you know, and have that experience with the little guys. So this was an interesting one. So I was in a GameStop, and they have this case that has a bunch of just weird, kind of eclectic, weird GameStop-y stuff in it.
GameStop-y stuff.
If that makes any sense. And so I see this case. I can clearly tell it looks like a Genesis case, and it's even got the red stripe. And I'm like, okay.
I was like, huh.
I was like, huh. You know, and I told him to open the case, and he was like, huh. This guy's really interested. And then, you know, he put the key in, and he was like, huh. It's actually, you know, working. No, it's a running joke between me and him. Anyways, there was this game behind there. It ended up being a Genesis homebrew game, and it's a game that is actually on the Evercade Versus
On the Mega Cat
VS
Studios.
It's an awesome game. I really enjoyed playing this. It's called Old Towers. Old Towers for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive by Mega Cat Studios. The one thing that hits me about this game is the music is just phenomenal. Have you heard it?
No, I have not.
Would you say the music is pretty rad in this?
I guess that was if that's the word I have.
It's funny because it's like a puzzle game, and I don't usually dig on puzzle games, but this has got sort of like your character moving through each part, and there's something oddly like platformy about it. So I was like, yes. I mean, I actually didn't even. I looked at the back and I'm like, yes, I'll buy it.
Yeah, it was like $30, right, or something like
Well,
that.
and I had a $5 coupon because I'm a Platinum Plus GameStop member now. And so I got it for $25, and I am not disappointed whatsoever. And Trent and I were playing one night the other day, and we got to the second to last level.
We didn't know it. We're on level 24.
We didn't even know. We were like, but
So I mean, it's kind of short. You know, it's kind of short because like you could technically play through it, and
I just think it's so cool to be able to buy a new game for an old system like that. And I know that stuff's happening all the time now, but I don't know. I've never really bought. Because I always miss the window. They got these retro releases, and it's like you got to be there right. You know, it's got to be like you say. It's got to be right here. You know, it's like
pre-order
12 a.m. and be able to, you know, I got to click on it. I got my 4 windows open. I got the algorithm running. Like, I got a kid. I got a career. I got a wife. I got to take care of.
Boo, boo. Why do I sound like that?
Huh?
You keep 4 windows open, and you have access to all of the things.
Well, you do a good job of making fun of that guy. You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying?
That's true.
I'm not saying you're that guy.
I can be.
Are
It's
you
okay.
that guy?
Sometimes.
Okay.
There's new Lego sets coming out. I will probably be that guy.
I got to pre-order them.
Oh, so you're like my 7-year-old. Dad, when are we gonna get the Sonic one? It makes noises.
I have the Sonic Lego set.
You can get the
I'm an
Nintendo
adult,
one.
damn it.
Get the Nintendo one for like $250.
Really?
Yeah, like the NES. It's like an old school CRT TV.
Is it $250? Is it really
It's
$250?
$230, but it's pretty cool.
My bad.
It's pretty cool.
Sorry.
It's pretty cool.
Plus tax, sir.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, you know?
I don't know. $250? It's a bit much.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's just going to embarrass myself.
Well, we obviously know it's more than $250.
It's like 4, but we're not going to go into that, you know? Fine. I mean, fine. It's all good. You know?
All right, so the last pickups that I got.
Oh, the last?
Yes.
It's only been a week.
Look at the smile on my face. You see how happy I am?
This is it. This is all
jovial.
I have.
So these are games. I know you have these games.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the Evercade companies that makes games is Siccio, right? Don't they make them, or is it Pico?
It's Pico.
Oh,
not,
Pico.
Yeah, not.
Well, Siccio is a developer that got started in the early '90s, and they made a lot of classic shooters. One of which that I've wanted on my Dreamcast for the longest time is Gunbird 2, and that game just keeps going up and up and up and up and up.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't even play it on with any kind of VGA adapter because it requires just a regular 240p. So you can't really get it to work. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to be able to enjoy that game, but it's a Siccio game.
Ooh.
And they have the Siccio Shooting Stars Alpha and Bravo sets, and these are I'm guessing the deluxe sets of the games.
So that's the only release of them.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay, you have the full box sets, which I don't know if they're producing anymore. It's like the same kind of deal.
They might be. So the company that releases them, NIS America, does a lot of the more oddball stuff typically. They primarily do Japanese.
Really cool. It comes with like a poster.
They do really good releases. They typically just do print runs. So as demand goes up, they'll be like, oh, if there's enough demand, they'll do another print of it usually. Okay. So I know they just reprinted Bravo like last year again.
Bravo is awesome.
Because that's the one with...
It's the one I spent the most time with.
Yeah.
It has Gunbird 2. The really cool thing about this is they also allow the tape mode. So you can actually, if you were crazy enough and you wanted to take your LCD widescreen and turn it sideways, you could play it in its original aspect ratio and full screen.
Yep.
Which is awesome. And the little guy and I have been playing some Gunbird and also some Tengai.
Go ahead.
All right. And Samurai Aces, and we've had unbelievable blast. I mean, these games are hard as balls.
Oh, yeah.
But they're still like a ton of fun to get through.
Oh, they're fantastic games. It's funny because
Strikers is the big one on the Alpha series.
Yeah. You picked up one of them at the store, and the guy that traded them in, and I don't mean to mock people, but
okay, go ahead. Though.
I'll mock.
Go ahead.
His
though.
whole thing
You
was,
say it, and then I'll mock after.
He was like, well, there's slight lag when you press the button, and it's like 4 milliseconds off. I'm like, okay.
I didn't notice that at all. And I played on a really crappy LCD TV. The one that's in my living room, which I don't even know what the lag time is on that TV.
I played it on our Dynex specials at work, and it was fine.
Dynex.
That's the Best Buy, right? Dynex.
I thought Insignia.
No, that's Insignia.
No, but I think they sell maybe like older.
Maybe it was Dynex before.
Damn Dynex.
I don't know. It's an old TV, but it works fine. I'm sure if you're a shooter like Die Hard, maybe you're like frame specific on stuff. I'm not. If I'm having fun, it's all that matters.
Well, a lot of it depends on the TV you're using too, though.
That's true. But I mean, I think at least from the TVs, because I've used it on a bunch of different ones, and these games all.
So
play
I
great.
just can't play these anymore.
Yeah. That was.
Do you enjoy like these series?
Oh, every single one on the Siccio sets has been great. They're not all equal. Like there's some that are obviously much more polished.
I like Bravo more than Alpha, but I still love them as a set.
Oh yeah, for what you're getting for the price, it's absolutely worth it. I think when they retail from NIS, they're like $60, which is amazing for what you're getting.
Gunbird 2 is $150 at its cheap point.
Yeah,
complete on its own.
I mean, just the fact that you're getting, 6 games in each set, on top of the fact you're getting
some of them that never were released on cartridge or CD,
and you're getting them in a good ratio. You're getting them with all the the cool stuff that they give you with the set. You get the postcards and the posters and everything and the soundtrack. It's just NIS does a very good job with their releases, and these are probably some of the best ones they've done.
Got it. What were you saying?
Were those arcade games? All of those?
All of them,
the ones that...
all of them were at one point.
Mm-hmm. Some of them were translated to console, like Gunbird I have on Saturn, Gunbird 2.
Psycheo does a lot more in Japan with their arcade stuff. So like, there's not a lot of cabinets you see in the States for these games. Typically, it's mostly Japan only.
Not a lot of cabinets you see in the States at all anymore.
Touche. Yeah.
Because of one particular game that's kind of taken over the Dave and Buster's, which we're going to talk about in a little bit.
It's very good.
It's taken over.
Ryan, what do you got, man? What do you got to share with the
I was gonna let
the community?
Trenton go.
With the community.
Trenton, what do you got over there?
Got some pretty cool stuff over there.
I have a hidden gem.
Ooh.
It's only hidden because I didn't know it existed.
Oh my gosh. Is it gem?
Is it a gem or hidden or both or none?
Well, you know how it's a gem is when they put on the price sticker oddity. They're like, we don't know what this is.
No, they thought it was for the Odyssey. That's why they misspelled it.
They're like, we don't even know what this is. So it's just whatever. We're just gonna put a price tag on it.
Yeah.
And that is because you actually at the what was it? Level
1 Games.
Level 1 Games
over in Danbury, Connecticut.
I was
Danbury
actually,
Fair Mall.
I was actually on the phone with you when you were looking. And you're like, oh, they got a Lynx game. You're like European Soccer Challenge, and I was on like eBay and I couldn't even find anything on it, and I had to Google it. And
by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, Trenton is now the owner of a Lynx, and he's trying to get potentially a full Lynx set, I would imagine.
Yeah, at some point. So we picked this European Soccer Challenge. I don't know if it's the original seal or
There's
not.
a man on the front cover with a mustache alone. That tells you all that you need to know.
So I'm actually going to open it right now.
Ooh, we're getting it on unboxing.
We're cracking. I mean, it has the Atari seal of quality on it, so it has to be legit.
So it has to be legitly bad.
Yeah, but it's Telegames, so I'm assuming this is.
It's gonna be an Amiga release that they transformed
well,
into
I mean,
Lynx game.
Telegames is known for putting out. They put out games for the Lynx like after the Lynx was like dead, and they said same thing with like the Jaguar. So I don't know if this really counts as like an official release.
Well, it's
towards,
funny
like,
as you're pulling that open. Me and my buddy Chris Giroir, back at Horace W. Porter School in 7th grade, we're looking up a list of Telegames Atari 2600 releases that we could purchase brand new. All of them were $9.99 or $19.99. All the way through, and most of them were like $9.99, but they were brand new releases, and it was Telegames that was selling them. This is probably in 1997, 96.
Oh wow! I was gonna say that would explain. We get a lot of those 2600 carts at the store.
And it says like it has the Telegames.
Yeah, it'll say Telegames, and sometimes it's not just one game. Sometimes they'll put like 2 on the cart somehow and stuff. So
yeah.
So it looks to be we got the fresh cart.
Nice.
Yeah, 1993. So that had to be like after
I was a wee lad.
After the Lynx. I mean 4 years after the Lynx came out. I don't even
Lynx
know.
was 89.
Yeah, I believe so. So I don't think
16-bit handheld in 1989.
Let's see what else we got in here. There's more than a manual.
Is there an order form, a Telegames order form?
I think it might be actually. It's a pretty stacked manual. Yeah, because they did off-road, Double Dragon. There's they put out like a bunch of see there's off-road,
Super Off-Road, Desert Strike.
Yeah,
these are all Genesis games.
Double Dragon, like that's a really expensive one. So I don't know if it really counts towards the whole list, but I mean,
it's cool.
$25 for literally a brand new sealed Atari.
Were there any like listings that you saw?
There's like one, but it's like overseas and it's
Australia, right?
It's I don't know.
It's like $50 with shipping.
Ugh.
Yeah, like plus shipping. It's
always like 30.
Nice little booklet. You can add more to excitement with your Lynx by getting nice shelf speakers for it.
You gotta get those. You gotta get those.
That was a thing.
The definition of portability.
Wait, you can plug this into shelf speakers and then listen to the sound just.
Well, yeah, just like you would
like a headphone
jack. Yeah. You can put surround sound.
No, yeah, I know that they might have. I wouldn't be shocked.
Plug it into the Denon over here.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if they made licensed ones. I know the Sega did Genesis licensed shelf speakers.
That's really cool.
Steve has them. They're very cool. And they sound pretty dang good, actually. I've been impressed with how good they sound.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, Sega worked with like Yamaha, for their sound chips. So Yamaha's a really good sound company. Was especially back then. So they could have been rebranded Yamaha speakers or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they put like a decent amount of games out. I mean, there's 8 right here. Those might have been all the games they put out. So I think they're technically like aftermarket games.
That's pretty cool. Color. It's all full color and everything.
Yeah, I mean the manual's in black and white, but
Crazy Aces, or Crazy Ace looks like zany.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Did you get any more Lynx games? You haven't shown any.
I did, but I don't
Kicks.
remember. I don't remember what I got. It was either I got Super Squeak or you had Super Squeak, and it was in the wrong way. Well, I don't remember which way that one.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Okay, yeah.
Fast food. This one looks really cool. The Guardians Storm over Doria. It looks like a slash 'em up, like an overhead slash 'em up, almost like a gauntlet, but a little bit more defined.
Yeah, so like the Double Dragon, they just took the it's almost like
The Genesis version.
yeah, but it's like zoomed in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, because of the resolution of the links.
yeah.
So I don't know how well it plays or not. So the next thing isn't exactly a pickup. It's a modding of a pickup.
Ooh.
So we had a bunch.
So tell everybody about your
had a
relationship that you have.
We had a few systems that so basically through the Atari Lynx and the Jaguar,
physically,
you start
physically through them.
Yeah, I joined a couple Atari Jaguar like fan groups on Facebook.
You're in it, man. You're an Atari head.
Talking about nerding out.
Yeah.
I'm in multiple Atari Jaguar groups on Facebook. There's like Atari Jaguar fans, Atari Jaguar Marketplace, Atari Age. So actually, it's original that I'm
Atari Age is kind of like one of the oldest
well, that's their site, and they have
websites that actually has like retro content from like way back, and they're still running.
Yeah, they're making 2,600
And
games of Jaguar
it's the one that didn't go down
really? Yeah.
the absolute trash chute that Nintendo Age did. So
See, I didn't even know.
Oh, there was a
great.
Nintendo Age site. I didn't even know that.
yeah, they were very
That's another time.
yeah. we'll just say yeah.
So when I first started getting into the Jaguar, someone had posted they were selling their the Jaguar, basically like I forgot the name of it, like the Jaguar RAM cart, like the Saturn has the
RAM
Sega
expansion?
CD. Yeah, so there's a Jaguar version. So I grabbed that, I grabbed that from him, and then I just kind of kept it. I was like, hey, if you ever have any other stuff that I need to buy, and then I don't know if he was doing modding at that point, or so then he started saying, I repair Jaguars, and then it kind of went into like I repair like pretty much everything. So I got this Lynx on Christmas last year, and I was like, the first thing I want to do is get the new screen, because I got to have a crisp screen. So I asked him, he said he could do it.
It's incredible.
So I sent him this. I sent him an Xbox, which was beyond repair, so he couldn't fix that. I sent him my PS2, he fixed that. Sent him your PS4, cleared the dust out of that. We sent him your Dreamcast, because he said it just needed
the closed door issue.
Yeah, which is he just kind of like aired it out, and then he hit the Retro Bright or whatever, turned it back to white,
which was bittersweet for me. There's a lot of gaming in that yellowing.
A lot of years in that.
A lot of years in that. And in fact, I still got the controller, my original controller that has the yellowing. So, that's the comfort food. Speaking of Dreamcast, what is up? Can you tell me what's going on with Dreamcast controllers? Why they've skyrocketed more than other stuff? Like I bought a Dreamcast controller. I know we talk about pre-COVID, but like $7 like in 2019, and now they're like 30 easy, like for a regular one, not one of the colored ones.
No, I know. Honestly, I don't know. If I was gonna make an educated guess based on like at least just the
sales numbers,
sales numbers and stuff, it's the fact that more retro gaming in general is just massive. Dreamcast did not sell well, so they're a pain in the butt to find in general. People destroy those controllers because the analog sticks are cabbage, and then
it looks like a little cabbage on top.
And then the fact that they just don't make them anymore, and there's not very many good third-party alternatives to the Dreamcast controller, at least from my experience.
Oh, those third-party ones are terrible.
I was going to ask you, is there like the Brawler? You know how they have that for 64?
No, that's the thing is, I have yet to see that. I know Hyperkin announced they were going to do something for the Dreamcast, but there's no real like Retrobit, Hyperkin. None of those companies have really come out with a good replacement controller for the Dreamcast yet, and I think that's the problem. Is people are continually using them. They're not getting any better. They're just getting worn out. And there's just not enough new old stock or replacement stock out there. It's not like the VMUs where you could still find new old stock VMUs for $10,
Right. You really only need one depending on what you're playing. But I don't understand this whole thing about wearing out controllers.
I don't know. On my controllers,
I've never I've heard about this PS4 thing. The PS4 sticks get worn out. I've had my Dreamcast launch controller for 23 years. It still works perfectly. So I don't know, what is it with people? How is it? Are you jamming the analog stick in?
So
I've never had any controller.
The only thing I've ever had happen is the rubber like grippy part has gotten a little worn down, but that's also after playing RPGs for 85 plus hours.
Wait, the rubber
multiples in a row.
Wait, the Dreamcast?
You just buy the PlayStation controller that you can hold in one hand to play RPGs.
Well, no, I meant like the example I'm using is my Xbox One controller.
I know.
So like those have like a very small like grips on them, and those wear out over time. But like the sticks are fine. I know a lot of people like, oh, I have drift, I have this, that, and the other thing. It's like, my question is, how are you using your controller? I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of these, my age and younger, tend to beat on their controllers a little too much. And
playing Madden,
having worked, oh god,
throw it across the room.
There's a lot of that, and you can always tell when they come in because like the casing's like coming apart,
yes.
And it's just like, yeah, all right, bro, you threw this like that, or like the fact that I don't know if this is a trend, but if every gamer since 1995 has decided, hey, while I'm gaming, let me drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew and a full bag of Cheetos and not wash my freaking hands.
That's what we did,
and just build up this crust, this just fossilized human DNA that's just jammed.
Tell them why you mad.
Every single pore of this controller, and I'm like,
I mean, we did that all the time, but my controllers were never like caked up with anything.
Mine never were either as a kid.
It was Domino's and orange soda.
If just the concept of washing your hands has just fallen out of fashion. I don't know. Maybe I'm a kooky guy, but I like to wash my hands before I play my games.
Call me crazy.
I don't know, but it's just like
so you've talked about this before about like breaking controllers, and I just don't. Who are these cretin that are doing this?
No one's going to admit it.
I feel like these controllers are good enough that they should last if you just you can play some hard and heavy games, but I mean,
like
I don't understand.
For me, the only excuse I've ever accepted, and I can understand,
especially with the older stuff, which I feel like they made it a little bit better back then.
Like, for example, if you're moving and you drop it by accident, like it falls off the truck, or like if you're
falls off the truck. What is it? Just sitting by itself?
Well, you know what I mean.
All these controllers that are coming in are falling off trucks.
Throw them in the back of the truck, Ron.
Or like, or you forget it's on. Like you pause your game, you put it down, you forget it's on the floor, you accidentally walk over it and step on it.
All right, but that's like 1 in 100.
That's my point. Is these are very extreme, extenuating circumstances. Whereas most of the time, it's kids just getting pissed and hucking it at the wall.
Like, I was playing my 360 on the steps.
I say kids to try to be as forgiving as I can. I know it's mostly adults.
The only thing I see, so when I go out, because I'm like reselling and stuff, the only I see a lot of 360 controllers, but the only issue I ever see is that the rubber is worn off on the joystick, but they still work.
Thankfully, those are very easy to replace.
Yeah.
Like that. You
can put like a new rubber on top.
Oh yeah, we do that at the store. Like literally, because almost every 360 controller we get, the rubber's worn off, and it's like as long as the stick's fine, cap's like 10 cents. Unscrew it with a couple torque bits, put the new cap on, maybe clean off some dust or any hair that's in there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of pet hair. Please clean your pet hair. But you just clean it, put it back together, and they're like brand new. Because the micro switches are fine usually. For the bumpers and stuff. Those two can wear out. Like if you hit too hard by accident, I guess maybe because it is such a small metal piece, Yep. But other than that, honestly, like that's the only thing that I've seen wear out. But I guess it does come with games too. So like I know the N64 controllers are notorious for wearing out the sticks because games like Mario Party, the first one where you have that mini game where you like spin it.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta get the GameCube sticks.
It's gonna destroy it,
Yeah.
I don't know maybe Dreamcast with like some of the fighters, because a lot of like the side left right combos you got to do for like the Hadoukens and stuff with Street Fighter and things like that, and the quarter circles. Maybe over time that plastic bushing wears out, things can happen like that. Tangent, but that's where I'm gonna go with it.
I don't know how we got there, but
I was talking about the links, and then I think I said someone said something about a controller, and it triggered somebody.
It triggered me. I got triggered.
Oh yeah, you're like, you know what, controllers? What is it? Oh, because you're the Dreamcast controller.
Yeah.
They're $30. All
right, go ahead. What else you got?
I mean, that was pretty much it. I covered Warlock. This isn't really. I mean, it's a pickup in a way that I already had the game for a while. So there's a guy on eBay, Shiggity, who
Shiggity do the liggity
for some reason has hundreds and hundreds of cover arts for Genesis games.
Check them out.
So I got like a stack of like 5 or 6 of them because I had some cartridges, and I just like the OG style.
It's a solid cover art.
Yeah, the OG style case, and it gets a lot of hate. Last Battle, I stand by it.
Boo!
It's actually it's generic, but it's fine. It's like the precursor to Altered Beast, you know.
Although it came out the same day.
You're just like holding back, but yeah, and I picked up it's a precursor. So and then I picked up a manual because it was like $9. It's actually like a more expensive game.
He's saying it's
like metaphorically, it's a precursor.
It's generic, more generic than Altered Beast. So Altered Beast is like a more evolved, better version of this game.
So it's the ballpark hot dog of the gaming era.
Cons.
Versus, Altered Beast being your Hebrew national, slightly higher quality.
Slightly higher quality, yes. Slightly much higher quality. Well,
but it's going up in price as in everything. But this is a copy.
But that's a sequel. So the first game is Black Belt on the Master System, which in my opinion is a much better game, and it follows that kung fu style, which this does as well.
Yeah.
To be fair, I haven't played this game in 29 years. And I remember hating it back then, but I also, at the same time that I got exposed to this,
playing Altered Beast.
I got exposed to Altered Beast, Ghouls and Ghosts, Strider, Golden Axe. Like, that was Mystic Defender, all in like the same day.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this was the odd man out. So if I went back and played it, I'm sure that I would get it.
You're like, it's fine.
It's hard when you have a launch window like that, and it's just like there's just all these.
But the problem with Last Battle is not just the gameplay. It's like you have to go to this place, you got to talk to this person, then you got to go back over here, and it's just the same sort of. It becomes monotonous gameplay because you're just hitting the guys and they're exploding off the screen.
Yeah.
But you're kind of like slowly going through this thing, and when you're a 7-year-old kid or an 8-year-old kid, and you're like, wait, I got to go back over here, and I got to go back over there, and it's
I've had enough.
Yeah, it's like I just want something that goes from level to level, and so that was the issue with that game when I played it.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I'm not saying it's great,
Right.
It's fine though.
So you're saying it's going.
Yeah. Like a complete copy because it's who has Last Battle,
right?
I guess we could mention this. This is actually another one that you grabbed for me. Not necessarily one I need, but
you're kind of into
the price.
You're kind of into this.
It's something like
This one I think is better than the first one in my opinion.
It's it's a Sega. It's
purely for a genre.
It's it's a Sega branded game, so I feel like I got to get all those. So it's Toe Jam and Earl, Panic on Funkatron.
I mean, $15 you can find a manual.
Yeah. I've actually never played this one, so I don't know how it is. Actually, I don't even know if I've ever played the first one. And I got the manual from you for that one. So I don't know, just another one that's gonna go on the shelf and look pretty,
Yeah.
Pretty. It's Toe Jam and Earl,
Pretty as it can. All right, Ryan, what do you got?
I'm gonna be as brief as I can.
Whatever you can do.
All right,
but brief, but
explain
as thorough as you can be.
Yeah.
Briefness.
So,
be but thorough as you can in your briefness.
Brief but thorough,
In your briefs.
But be a living oxymoron. That's what we want.
Yep.
So the first game I got, and all of these are pretty much, at least for the recent stuff, is all re-releases, but it's still cool stuff, is a physical copy of Inside and Limbo for PS4.
Not normally what we cover, but what?
I ain't never heard of that.
So they're pretty cool. They were indie games.
These are like some of the earliest, right? The earliest indie games that were starting on like Xbox Live, right?
Yeah, on Xbox Arcade and stuff. So Inside and Limbo are done by Playdead Studios. They're really good, kind of avant-garde games. It's a mix of stealth games with walking simulators. The artwork is gorgeous. They're extremely well done. It's pretty cool to have this collection. It's been re-released on PS4. I believe there was a collection on Xbox 360 and PS3 as well. Definitely cool games to try if you're kind of into that like stealth / walking sim game. They're similar to like the newest game I can think of that's similar would be like Little Nightmares, which is kind of that horror stealth game, but this
It's 2 games? Is that what it is?
Yep. Yeah, Inside and Limbo. So they're 2 separate games, but done by the same studio in the same art style.
Like accoladed, like multiple awards. Like
They're
best
extremely well awarded games. Yeah. And the second PS4 game is another re-release, and it's Okami HD.
I remember this was coming out around the time that Twilight Princess was coming out.
Yeah, that was on the Wii, right? Okami?
It was
Originally PS2. Yeah, it's a Capcom game.
But it was supposed to be way better on Wii because of the motion controls.
Yeah.
Because you're literally drawing things on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's kind of a 3D adventure game. It utilizes that drawing control to like create different things in the world.
Do you use the pad on the PS4 for that?
You can use the pad, or you can use, if you have the VR stuff, I'm pretty sure you can. It has
the Move controller?
Yeah. It is PS4 Pro enhanced.
Ooh.
So I actually just got a PS4 Pro. I obviously didn't bring that with me because it's a nightmare to carry anywhere.
Wow, PS4 Pro, huh?
Because I finally have a TV that can utilize the 4K and the fact that it has the 60 frames per second, which...
You didn't want to go to the PS5?
Excuse me, sir. The PS4 Pro has 60 frames per second.
So...
It's the definitive way to play the PlayStation 4.
So it's pretty cool, and, you know...
You've become what you hate.
I've enjoyed to play that. But yeah, so that's...
Move on from that. Build off of that one there, Ryan.
Yeah. So that's... That game is very cool. If you don't have a PS4, it is available on Switch as well online. It is not physical though, unless it's. I think Japan got a physical release. We didn't because, of course.
Oh, we're gonna talk about the Switch soon here, man.
And then kind of going into the handheld route.
Ooh.
I picked up Final Fantasy Legend on the original Game Boy.
Because you all can see that.
It's very small font. It's little.
It's little, but it's some good things come in small packages.
Yeah, it is actually not a Final Fantasy game. It is one of multiple games that was released with the Final Fantasy name in the States to help market them. It is actually the first of the Saga series from Japan. It is a JRPG.
How is the Saga series?
Saga games are very
Japanese?
Yeah. They're good. They're traditional JRPGs. There's grinding. There's different... you have your magic systems and different items you pick up and collect, and you work through the stories. I would say they're very similar to the Mana games, but they're a little bit more grindy.
I mean, people love the Mana games.
Yeah. And now going to the retro route.
The PC de Resistance. Sega Genesis.
It's not even retro to us. It's just what it is.
It's just what it is.
Yeah. Retro to me.
Truth, Trent.
Was actually I was able to get this complete and crispy thanks to Sal.
Yeah, we talked about this game already, though.
Yeah, little Sal got his copy.
This one's in way better condition.
I was able to get Aladdin for Genesis.
I saw the manual and I'm like, okay, Ryan needs it. I need to get this manual because it's in such great shape. I gotta hide it from the little guy because he said, "Oh, I need the manual," but I know he's probably just gonna destroy it at his age. So I was like, okay, we're gonna. And then you had the other manual,
yeah.
So it just worked out.
Yeah, so it worked out perfectly, and I was able to get that complete. One of my favorites I've played.
One of my favorites on Genesis.
Continuing the Genesis route,
Yes.
is the 7-Up mascot Cool Spot.
Don't talk smack about this game. This game is fantastic. I don't care.
And I had this when I was
like,
collecting.
battle me, bro.
I had this when I was collecting Genesis. It is complete.
Ooh.
And
Yes.
it's a pretty cool platforming game. It is pretty cool.
The animation is incredible. I think it's done by Dave Perry of Shiny fame. And
I don't think I have. I don't think I have that one. I have Spot Goes to Hollywood, but that's like a totally different game.
Cool Spot is better in my opinion.
Like the Spot isn't like the Spot.
Disregard what happened.
Get edited in post.
Wardrobe malfunction, everybody.
We'll do it live.
Isn't because I think Spot Goes to Hollywood. Isn't it like the
isometric?
Yeah. So it's like I don't. It's on the Saturn too, right? Or what's the one?
PlayStation and Saturn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You actually found it for me on Saturday when you went to Providence.
Published by Virgin Games.
Or no, Crystal.
They know their fan base.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, cool. Actually, I don't have Cool Spot. What does that go for now? I don't even know.
I think it's like $15, $20.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's not a super expensive game.
Nice.
And then the last Genesis game, and probably the most important one, is
Yes!
Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
You motherfucker.
So I don't know if you listened
With
to
the
our last-
registration card.
Oh man, now we're talking about $190. Is it a Konami case? Does it have the imprint on it?
Yes, it does.
Ooh,
It's
that's extra special.
So I don't know if you listened to our last episode, but we decided.
No, he only listens to the episodes he's on.
Right. We decided that our game of the year that we covered
was Zombie Ate My Neighbors.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
The game
Which-
of the year.
I have not played this ever. So I am excited to try it.
What?
That's the end of the podcast.
Which is funny because
No, it's not funny.
we have had this cartridge
No, it's not funny.
in our Genesis kiosk at the store for 6 years. I could have played it at any point.
Nobody bought it in 6 years.
Well, no, the ones that are in the Genesis cart kiosk are not for sale because we use them for the demo.
He's talking about in the
This-
system.
Yeah,
system
in the
kiosk.
demo kiosk we use for people so they can come and play.
The one that you pause on your CRT TV so it burns into the screen.
Okay, I switched it to columns. Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, columns. Yes.
now it just goes bloop 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 in the corner.
Wait. So where'd you get the case then? Or you had them?
Oh no, this came in complete,
Oh.
and I bought it complete.
Oh. Okay. I thought you meant you had the copy there and you bought that and you
No,
had the
no,
case
no,
or
no, no,
something.
no.
Oh, okay.
No, this came in complete, and I was hoping it wouldn't sell because we have to wait before we're allowed to buy stuff. So thankfully it didn't.
Let's do a little switcheroo. I buy it, I hold it, and I sell it back to you.
I try to be
Everybody
a good boy.
wins.
I follow the rules.
I
Society
think
rules.
We don't.
I mean, it's
we
a
don't.
without rules.
We don't do that.
It's a
I'm
10%
just kidding.
markup, of
I'm
course.
Just. I don't know why I got to preface that this is a joke, but this is a joke.
Yeah, no, I know. But yeah, so thankfully it sat and I was able to buy it. So very happy to add it to the collection.
We're happy for you.
I'm happy for you.
I might-
You're really building this Sega collection.
Very excited.
I might steal
awesome.
the manual.
It started
out of
with the
though.
greatest of all gifts, which was Steel Empire Complete, also from Sal,
Oh yeah.
which
No
I
problem.
have played
yeah.
too much already, but I love that game.
You need to get yourself a master system converter now.
I have it.
Oh, you do.
Girl, you know I do.
Yes.
Damn, boo.
Yes.
Drinks all around.
So I picked up a Retron 5 and got the Master System converter, and Sal was gracious enough to give me the first game for that collection, and it is one I was looking for because I had it and loved it, and that's Ghost House.
So tell me
Yo, bounce these ghosts.
a little bit more. So you had this as a kid?
No, so when before I worked at Retro, I got into gaming again, like hardcore, and I was like, oh man, I remember having a Genesis as a kid, for like a day, and then
A day.
house burn-
This is the Trash Bag
Oh.
Chronicles.
Yeah, this is the house burning down and then
Oh,
Trash
yeah,
Bag
okay,
Chronicles.
right.
Yeah, my life is horrible. Anyways, but that's facetious. It's fine.
I like to go on the premise that that is actually true. Go
Everything's
ahead.
cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm fine. We're fine. Who wants some therapy?
You guys
Anyways,
gotta see, we got a whole setup with a noose back here after we get done.
Whoa.
anyways,
So tell us where it hurt you.
yeah. Point on the doll.
We need one of those dolls just to show it every episode. Go ahead.
But yeah, so I had been collecting Genesis for a little while before I started working at the store, and I had, was talking to Zach who worked there, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you heard about the Master System?" I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "Oh, it came out before the Genesis," and I never heard about it because it was I didn't even really know what Nintendo was that much as a kid because the only thing we had was a 64, so I didn't know that there was two previous, So
Don't be proud of your ignorance.
thankfully, it just so happened that they got a Master System in randomly.
Oh,
And I was like, oh. And it was still relatively cheap. This was before the massive boom.
right.
So I was
Probably
able
like
to
50,
get it.
60 bucks or something.
Yeah, it was $50. So I picked that up and I got, it had the built-in,
Hang on. Or whatever, yeah.
and then
Great game.
I was able
in
to
and of
find
itself.
this without the manual. And he's like, oh, it uses those cards too. I'm like, oh, really? So I put it in and
I stuck it
it's
in.
a really cool, it's very similar to like Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle or
Yes. Mhm.
like
That's my jam right there.
those single screen kind of like you're in a building and you have to go to different doors, pick up different items and stuff. But it uses the Dracula theme, which is pretty cool. So you have like bats and werewolves and all this other stuff. So it's pretty cool.
It's actually it's considered like a hidden gem within that library, but see,
It is,
I
as
didn't-
they say, a spooky romp.
It is
a romp.
I never grew up with this game, and I have no really kind of like connection to it. So it's an easy thing for me to pass along to you, especially if you have that. Like that was one of your first experiences. That's a special thing.
Yeah, it was my first experience with the Master System. I got this that day and Outrun. And Outrun is my other one I'm looking for in Master System because...
You can't have that copy.
No, I know. But because... And
we're not that close, baby.
This is the last tangent I'm going to go on. But it's because... When I was growing up as a kid, we didn't have an arcade locally. But there was this old resort from like the 50s called Clark Crest. It's still there.
People got murdered there.
I mean, I don't know. The owner looked pretty dead when we used to go there. He was in his probably 80s at the time.
He looked pretty dead.
But it was this husband and wife that had built it in like the post-war, like 40s or 50s.
Oh, people definitely got murdered. Go ahead.
And but we used to go to the pool there when we were like with like Parks and Rec and stuff as kids. So they had the pool, and they it was weird because they had like this old ballroom and stuff which never was used. So it was creepy as shit. But
that's what I'm saying. It sounds like a really creepy place.
But it was really, I mean, it was a sweet old couple. They would sell candy bars and stuff in the main room.
That's exactly. You play hide and go seek there. You never return.
Anyway,
you would just hide.
They had an arcade with like a ping pong table.
Called Hide and Stay.
And like they had like four machines.
That was in their basement.
And one of the 4 machines was Outrun.
Gotcha.
And it was the stand-up Outrun.
Ooh. Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, and I loved that one. And it was 25 cents.
Did it have pedals on the floor?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was 25 cents. And we used to play that like all the time. It was that and Captain America and the Avengers were our 2 like go-tos.
Captain America
and the X-Men cabinet, which never worked. So
like with the sideways screens,
the huge one, like the 4-player one with like it's like 3 screens, or was it? Yeah, that thing is huge.
It just never worked.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
that's tough.
And then, and then a pinball machine. That was the 4th thing.
Nice.
It was cute. So like that's why like and the Master System version reminds me more of that machine than the Genesis one, so that's why I love the Master System.
My favorite version of Space Harrier is not my Saturn Sega Ages one. It's the Master System one because it's the one I grew up with. Mm-hmm. It's the one I played the most, and it was so impressive at that time when Sega did what Nintendo didn't.
Sega did what they done.
Yeah, they did what they did.
They did what they tried to do.
That's it. So, all right. Well, that is a long-winded introduction of about an hour and a half, but we will be right back with our discussion of Cruis'n USA. Hang tight, guys. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsor.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Gigantic Gorilla Optimus Primal transforms with double cannons firing. T-Rex Megatron transforms with pulverizing claw and twin missile launchers. Each sold separately.
Make car games great again.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully that was a riveting and really enjoyable commercial that you just saw there.
I enjoyed it. Did you?
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was exhilarating.
I was hard for it.
I was gonna say I got a little twitch. Watching it.
You have a twitch, or are you saying?
No, I got a twitch.
Look out below.
Yeah, exactly. So I figured Cruis'n USA came out for the Nintendo 64 in 1996.
Huh.
So why not start our discussion of Cruis'n USA with a song that came out in 1996 and see if you can guess what it is.
Is it Grooves in the House?
But do we have the rights to the song?
No. Trenton's good with music. We're going to see if he knows it. Ready?
96, huh?
Yeah, this is a R&B song.
Oh, shit.
And
if I get this wrong, it's going to look
R&B,
bad.
R&B.
If I don't get it, we're going to cut it.
And the artist is female.
Toni Braxton?
All I want is moonlight with you there inside me. All night, oh baby. Doing it again, and then again, and then again. Baby, 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 baby. You know I want it so bad.
Is it Toni Braxton, like I said?
I'll always... Can I get through it? and then you can guess. I'll always think... You got to guess artist and song. I'll always think of you inside my private thoughts.
It is. It's Toni Braxton.
I can imagine you...
Look, I fucking knew
touching,
it before you even started reading the lyrics.
I can imagine
That's why I'm the best.
Touching...
I'm the greatest.
My private parts.
Yeah.
And just the thought of you can help but touch myself. That's why I want you so bad.
So high when I'm around you, baby.
Last lyrics I'm gonna say.
Touch the sky.
I want to feel your heart and soul inside me.
Yeah.
Let's make a deal. You roll, I lick, and we can go flying into ecstasy. Oh, darling, you and me, light my fire, blow my flame.
Yeah.
Take me.
It's Toni
Take
Braxton.
me.
She was
Take me away.
smoking hot. You got to see the video. Oh man, she's like on this like pedestal, and she's got like this.
You don't have to tell me.
tight suit. Well, I'm telling him.
I have no idea who
Yeah.
this is.
See.
She's.
But give me props. You said 96. I said Toni Braxton before you even started reading
Well,
the lyrics.
let's be honest. I said R&B female artist. Now that was a little bit of a clue, but I didn't want to give it away. But yes, you had Toni Braxton right off the top. But you got the song. But how filthy those lyrics are!
No, I know, but it's
Like you don't think that? Like,
It sounds like a court deposition, like when you're, the way you're reading.
yeah.
It's just like, so this is what he said to you over
yeah,
the phone.
but I guarantee you they played that on Late 100.5.
Oh yeah. You know.
Oh, there was no censorship back. They didn't give a
But it was just the song was just like, oh, this is a nice song that's got a good dude. That beat drops and it's that.
Dude, it's a banger.
It is a track and a half. I was at my office yesterday and I was doing some paperwork and it came on the Spotify and I was like, what year did this come out? Because I need to bring this up in the podcast.
I get so high when I'm around you, baby.
Anyways, good job, congratulations, and yeah, just we gotta get in the mood of 1996.
I don't know if that really
feel-
helped.
I was 5.
I don't think that the correlation between
My
Toni
mood
Braxton's
was I'm in
high and
kindergarten.
Although
Cruis'n USA.
I'm not a big Toni Braxton short-haired fan, though. You know what I mean?
She pulled it off though. But no,
she
but
did.
like the
But her with the long hair,
no, but, well,
that caramel
she had the
skin,
short
she
hair
was-
on like
she
the
was good looking.
first album.
All right, so we go from Toni Braxton, and I don't know if.
Where do you go from Toni Braxton?
Well, here's the thing: is this game as good as Toni Braxton? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean I love video games, but I think I would have a better time listening to Toni Braxton.
Yeah.
She has many hits.
Yes. Yeah. Breathe again. But
It's just another sad love song.
was I singing that the other day when we were going to jiu-jitsu?
Yes.
I played him. You're making me high.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of that song?
Great.
The most apathetic looking response while still saying great.
That's the response you give when someone asks you like how was school? Great.
No, he said it with confidence, but in an apathetic way. I don't know, you can't repeat that.
It was his face. I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
his face.
I can see his face through the back of his head. I'm his dad. Anyways, so Cruis'n USA is the game we're talking about today. It's an important game.
For night, it's so important.
It's an important game for me. I like to talk about games that sort of either have some kind of historical context that echoes into the future, or they were important at the time, or there's an incredible fun or interesting story about them from where they came from. So you can look at Cruis'n USA, and it has aspects of it that
It has ripple effects.
has ripple effects going back in time, but it also has ripple effects going forward into the future. When you look at this game, it's created by a guy named Eugene Jarvis, which we've talked about before on our Killer Instinct
Yeah,
episode
Eugene.
and our Smash TV episode.
Damn, Killer Instinct. That was like an eon ago too.
Right. It was Killer Instinct and Eternal Champions, but that arcade port, remember we ended up playing that at the game show, and it was awesome.
Oh, the arcade one.
you
yeah,
actually finished me like out of the ring.
Pause.
It was the
Wait, what? Really?
so there's a video of us online playing the game, and you did a finisher
yeah, that's
move,
right, yeah.
and
I
it
didn't even know what I was doing,
and
yeah.
it was like an actual like
the
You did a
stage,
fatality.
the stage fatality.
the stage you did the stage fatality.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. So Eugene Jarvis is the guy who's responsible for Defender and Robotron 2084. We're talking about like second generation time period of gaming. You know, the Intellivision and
Atari, Coleco, yeah.
Atari, Coleco. And then this
Odyssey
guy
2.
Odyssey 2.
No, we're not. No.
Nobody owned that, but you know.
So cool though.
So and then he makes games like Smash TV, right? That we've talked about, and Killer Instinct and Cruis'n USA were a part of that Williams Nintendo partnership to create games for the Ultra 64, which ended up becoming the Nintendo 64. And there was this idea they were going to create this arcade hardware, which really only existed for Killer Instinct. And that system had way more memory inside of it to be able to put all that information in the game. That, you know, they made the Killer Instinct for Super Nintendo, but that actual game never came to the Nintendo 64. So Cruis'n USA is sort of that other piece, and Eugene is responsible for that. As a side note, and part of the Cruis'n USA legacy is that the style of game that Cruis'n USA is, not to jump ahead, but Cruis'n USA, that arcade style that it brings, is what we've seen in arcades moving forward from that time until now. Every single arcade racing game that you play, its bones are in Cruis'n USA. The same type of game, wild, wacky, over-the-top racing gameplay. I don't care if it's the Fast and the Furious game.
I was just gonna say Fast and Furious.
Any of these racing games all get their start from Cruis'n USA. Cruis'n USA took over the arcade scene, which
What about Daytona Racing?
well,
That's a completely different style.
Oh.
But the point being there is that when you go into an arcade today,
Good pull though. It was a
you're
good
going to
pull.
play a game that has its roots in Cruis'n USA. What say you, Ryan? It looks like you were chomping at the bit to say something.
Oh no, I was just saying. It just reminds me because I was looking up a couple games that just meant something to me similarly, and it's funny because you mentioned that, and you see that especially like because Cruis'n USA is that like the physics are very bouncy. Like the cars spin around. You do the flipping mechanics, all the tricks
you
you can
don't
do.
get penalized too much for
Yeah, you just flip
bumping
and keep
into
going.
something.
Yeah. And you see that get pushed down the line into games like Hydro Thunder on boats, Arctic Thunder. You see it in the later cruising games. You see it in games like 18 Wheeler. American Pro Trucker has that Cruis'n style of bouncing mechanics with the trucks.
H2 Overdrive. I just wanted to say H2 Overdrive. I have no idea if that really matters or not.
What game is that?
I don't know.
All the Superbike games now too. All have that mechanic.
It's not even a game. You just wanted to say
I
that.
think H2 Overdrive is a game. I have know nothing about it though.
No idea.
I think it's a PS2 game that's supposed to be like Wave Racer.
But yeah, no, you just see that kind of reverberate everything, after Cruis'n USA.
Right.
It's kind of like what Mario Kart did for like kart racing games. I guess Cruis'n USA did for like the arcade racing game style games.
So the interesting thing about Cruis'n USA is that it never used this Ultra 64 hardware. In fact, the technology that powered it was more like, you're probably going to laugh at me, but it was more like the Sega Saturn than it was even the Ultra 64 because it was a graphic system that used quads, not polygons, not triangles. So everything was made out of squares, more like the Sega Saturn than it was even it was the Midway. I believe it was called Midway 5 was the arcade system. It had nothing to do with the Ultra 64, but they wanted it to be like that. And in fact, when the game came home, which it came home in late 1996, I would say they did an amazing job of porting that game. I'm not saying that Cruis'n USA is amazing, but that port to me was almost like an arcade port at the time when we saw it. I mean, you couldn't get much better from the arcade as a home port at that time.
No, I was gonna say, which is weird because I remember looking fairly recently that like people like it got like slammed in the magazines.
It got like 50s.
I was gonna say it was like the worst like 64 game because I was like it was in like that launch window somewhat of the 64.
It was because it was November or December of 96.
So there was only like 5 or 6 games at that point, maybe. The original 3, and then Cruis'n and maybe something else. And
Wayne
it was like
Gretzky's 3 hockey.
And it was like the worst reviewed game of the year, and it was like a bestseller.
One of the bestsellers, though.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is that I think Cruis'n USA is not a great game. It's more of like a real kind of an average game. But when you had very little games on the system, a system that was incredible at the moment, right? And it captured everybody, at least in the United States, that you wanted as whatever software you could get your hands on, you wanted to have. So it's kind of half Cruis'n USA being a decent game, but also and what it was able to do for that arcade racing genre, but also that starved for content type of a need for Nintendo 64 owners. And for what it's worth, it's a competent game compared to the arcade version. I mean, there's some the people bark about how there's some
Oh,
censorship.
your frame rate, it's very choppy compared to the arcade
I don't
version.
care. I don't care about any of that. Stuff.
No, but that was like the thing that everyone's. Which I mean, for like a kid at that time, I never even saw the Cruis'n USA arcade, so I didn't have anything to compare it to.
Here's the thing. Me looking and playing and watching this game and reviewing this game today, it is incredibly generic. Like to me. The music, it sounds like they made it on like a computer synthesizer and they were just hitting a bunch of keys.
Yeah.
The cars, in terms of like just the moment to moment gameplay, just seems kind of average. But we have to judge games in their time, and so that's kind of where I wanted to kind of pull this discussion into is kind of how does this game. Do you guys have any other comments about the game specifically? I mean, we haven't gone too deep in there, but it's. The unique aspect of this game is that you're going across country and you're going through several races, I think 13 or so races, to see if you can be the winner of the sort of, transcontinental challenge, so to speak. Over-the-top action, flying around, it kind of is the progenitor of that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that's probably what the strongest part of the game is. It's the physics engine. It's how the game presents the vehicles. It's designed to be kind of almost like, ping pong, billiardsy, where you're bouncing off of the sides, you're doing flips. It's not
meant to be taken seriously.
Yeah, and it's not, and yes, it's graphically, it was not the greatest at the time, but it was that engine that made the game. That's what makes it interesting. And I think, unfortunately, like this is especially, given that it was 96, when you're dealing with competition like Mario 64. Yes, it's a completely different style game.
Well, Mario 64 came out a couple of months later. It wasn't quite there yet, but it was it was pretty much a contemporary.
It was a launch title for the 64 though.
What?
Mario 64.
Oh, Mario. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying Mario Kart 64.
No. Super Mario 64. So they're completely different games, but when you look at like a
Mindshare.
Yeah, when you look at a screen, especially, because the launch window only had like 6 games total for the 64.
Yeah, like 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Pilot Wings, Mario.
Were the only two.
Those are the launch games.
Only two launch titles, and then there was like 2 or 3.
Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey came out shortly thereafter, and then Cruis'n USA.
And then,
So when you only have so many games to look at, and your contemporaries on that console are Super Mario 64 and Pilot Wings, which
is awesome,
which run extremely smoothly, look fantastic, and you come to
they were made specifically for that hardware.
Exactly.
And this game was an arcade game that wasn't even based on the engine. It didn't even use the same kind of graphical technology.
No, it was, and for what they were able to do, it's a pretty competent port for the time.
The port is fantastic.
Yeah, so like, yes, it's and that's the thing is people, I think that's why it got so kind of panned.
Yeah.
Was everybody's like, oh well, it's not Mario 64, or it's not, it's not even Pilot. It's like, it's not trying to be.
Yeah.
It's unique for what it does and what it's going to do down the road with that engine, and that engine is important.
Yeah.
The
gameplay's kind of interesting because it kind of melds like a Road Rash in a way with the vehicles coming in the opposite direction with a traditional arcade racing style game. But we were seeing, the definition of an arcade racer at the time was you looked at games like Daytona, or you looked at games like Ridge Racer, or games like Sega Rally, which those are the two games I kind of want to talk about in comparison to this. But they were a little less even arcadey than
more sim, yeah,
a little bit more sim, right? Not quite enough sim where you don't,
it's not Gran Turismo.
It would lose the arcade player, but this took it in even a more kind of casual way where it was more focused on play and have a good time, have some laughs, and enjoy yourself, and don't take it too seriously. And you look at it. You just got for me Cruis'n Blast on the Nintendo Switch, which is a phenomenal game. It takes that premise and puts it into overdrive in a way that anybody can have a good time, and that's what I really appreciate about Raw Thrills and Eugene Jarvis, which he basically runs the arcades now, essentially, with all the games that he makes. And
I run this.
It can bring anybody and everybody together and have a really great time and not feel like you have to be the best video game player to enjoy it. So
yeah, I mean, unlike the sequel, obviously, like Cruis'n World, they took the formula and then expanded on it. Like, they tighter controls. They even went more over the top. You could do barrel roll jumps, jump over other cars, and then they added.
They definitely
of,
got better.
Yeah,
I don't know if the graphics got better. That's the one thing when I compare Cruis'n USA to Extreme G or Mario Kart 64. I don't think it's a graphical showpiece necessarily.
No, it's a fun showpiece. Is what it's what it really is.
Yeah, but it's got that casual fun thing down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and kind of where I wanted to finish the conversation or complete the conversation is looking at this game in the lens of what are the other games that kind of were coming out around it, especially on console. What are its closest contemporaries? And as I was looking at this, I said, when you look at the two on the other competitors, it was Sega Rally and Ridge Racer, which are not perfect copies. I get it. But in terms of what the system was able to showcase and what these systems were trying to do, how do we feel about that? Because I go back and I play games like Ridge Racer or Sega Rally, and there's something about those games that is just so precious and special, and the physics still feel really, really good to me.
Yeah,
whereas this game isn't. It's I know it's a little bit different, but I don't know. I just kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
I'm not a huge fan of Ridge Racer. Honestly, the only time I think I've ever played was on the demo disc. But Ridge Racer, it only has 3 tracks,
something like that,
right? And I think that you can do 3 tracks and they're mirrored, and they all kind of blend into each other. The tracks, there's nothing really it's you're on just a road and there's buildings and stuff. Whereas in Cruis'n you have all these different locations, so every course is completely different than the one before. Whereas Ridge Racer, like I said, it's I don't know. I find it more even though Cruis'n USA isn't exactly complex, but I just feel to me Ridge Racer was a little more generic in presentation wise. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I get what you mean.
It's there's so many Ridge Racer type games. You know what I mean? They're all kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. From that time, there have been a lot of games like that. Even more Ridge Racer games, Type 4, which I know is lauded as one of the best rally games ever. Mm-hmm. I like the tightness of the controls of those games, the power sliding. So that's a personal preference thing. But these are games. Ridge Racer originally came out in '93, Sega Rally '94, and the arcade version of Cruis'n USA '94. I actually think that Ridge Racer and Sega Rally hold up better in terms of their graphical prowess than this game does. Now,
if that's important to you.
Here's the thing, though, too. Cruis'n USA has how many cars on screen at the same time? Mm-hmm. Sega Rally and Ridge Racer, you're kind of by yourself, or you might be passing another car. Plus, both of those games are extremely wobbly. That's the one thing about Cruis'n that's so great, is that everything is just tight in terms of the environment. You don't have to worry about anything warbling or wobbling while you're driving through that area. So it's interesting to me to see how each company was kind of doing things a little bit differently, and just how they were able to be successful in their own right and provide honestly awesome experiences for whoever was playing on those systems, Mm-hmm. So I mean, I've got my own little preferences on that, but it's that's what I find so cool about retro gaming too, is every console manufacturer was doing something different than the other one, so you got these really different experiences even within the same genre.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's crazy because the 64, I mean, I guess it's known for it's tons of racing games.
I'm sorry, but there's not a lot of good racing games on the 64.
No, I know. I'm saying they're known for having a ton of racing
sports.
Games.
Yeah,
I get it, but
I'm not saying they're great. Yeah,
but and the ones that are good are good. F-Zero is timeless. At Mario Kart 64, I mean,
dude, the Hot Wheels game is actually really good.
Yeah.
Hot Revolt. I mean, that was on Dreamcast and stuff too, but that's another good one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of my guilty pleasures is Extreme G. I remember I was playing it at my buddy Jake's house, Jake Spector, and we were playing a 9-inch TV, but it was the speed, and then even the lighting engine. Cruis'n USA doesn't really have a lighting engine or anything. It's it's extraordinarily generic in that aspect. What it gets is that casual fun that everybody can jump into, and so you kind of appreciate games for what they do really well. And that's when I think of Cruis'n USA. That's what they and they kind of won the battle of the arcade racer, because you can't find a game that doesn't play like that now, you know. And so, and then them bringing Cruis'n Blast to Switch is just another way for people to kind of go back in time. I don't know if Cruis'n USA and that trilogy are on Switch.
I don't believe so, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on your environment. I mean, if you go to the arcade and there's a new Cruis'n or there's a new Ridge Racer, like, what are you gonna play?
I'm not there to learn a new engine. I want to have fun.
Yeah, it's like I gotta
I
shift.
for me,
do
it's
all
like
this
that
and
we were
drift.
always attracted to the Cruis'n games in the arcade.
And we didn't do a like a modern retro moment this episode because we kind of got carried away with our pickups. But talking about Cruis'n Blast and talking about the Switch and just we talked about some of our pickups that are new releases of old games. I just love what they're doing with that system and being able to provide all of these old experiences, things like Cruis'n USA for a new generation. I was able to pick up like this Psycho collection, which got me a game that I probably wouldn't have been able to get, and would have been able to enjoy the way I want to. And the Switch makes that so accessible. So, whatever you want to play from the old days, I mean, there's our compilations for every gamer that you can imagine, and you can get those old school experiences and get them in a way that you can just hook it up to the Switch, and you're playing right away, and it's pixel perfect, and you don't have to break the bank to be able to do that. I mean, you were showing me some of the stuff you got. I mean, show some of the of the games that you got.
I mean, this is. And this is just a fraction of just the of just the amount that they make, but
just like 8-bit, 16-bit,
stuff like the 16-bit classics where you get Aladdin, Jungle Book, Lion King. It's a little letterbox, but still fantastic.
Oh, it's got all the Disney ones on it.
Yep, they just re-released it with the Jungle Book on it. Yeah.
Oh, they put it out before, and now they put it out another one with and then they're gonna put out another one with Toy Story on it.
Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy Switch release.
Awesome game.
Fantastic game. The Collection of Mana, which has Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Trials of Mana.
Are those 16-bit?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, Final Fantasy Adventure is technically 8-bit. It's Game Boy.
Well, that's fine.
But yeah, Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana, both 16-bit games, fantastic RPGs.
Oh, Darius Rucker.
G. Darius. The PS1 Darius shooter that, you never find that game ever on PlayStation.
That's awesome.
It's just one game.
Yeah, but it's a fantastic 3D shooter.
How much was that?
$30 on Amazon.
Where's the PS1 going for?
Again, almost 100.
And you have to get a setup to be able to play that game reasonably.
Whereas this is, HDMI ready, putting out the classics. This one is actually an Asia release because they, for some reason, don't do physicals in America. But Legend of Mana, the remaster for Switch, fantastic.
Wait, so you imported that?
Yeah, I got it from PlayAsia.
Oh,
yeah.
And it
those games play on an American Switch?
Oh, yeah, it's English. Yeah, Switch is region free, ladies and gentlemen. Region free.
Nice.
Magic.
Nice.
One of the best racing games on N64, Pod Racer.
Dreamcast, baby.
Limited run release. And this is the Dreamcast port, but it runs at 60 frames per second with no slowdown.
Oh my god, 60 frames per second?
Your best. Stuff like NIS again. They put out random things that nobody remembers, but they're really, really good, and they should be remembered. They've been doing these RPG collections now. Soul Nomad and Phantom Brave, two RPGs that came out on PS2. Phantom Brave had a little bit of a following, but Soul Nomad kind of died out. Really good RPGs.
Not related to Brave Fencer.
No.
All right.
Cotton, the Cute 'em Up, got a release.
All these
on
games,
Switch.
guys, if you're buying them, if you're trying to get them on like Saturn or TurboGrafx or whatever, they're like $200+ dollars
versus a $30-$40 game on Switch.
What was Cotton on what system?
It's a Cute 'em Up shooter with a massive amount of effects on the screen.
Yeah.
Just
no,
like
I
crazy.
said what system was it on?
TurboGrafx 16,
really?
Mega Drive, and Sega Saturn generally. Those are like the three consoles.
Yeah. The Turrican Flashback Collection has
Welcome to Turrican.
Turrican 1, Mega Turrican, Super Turrican, and Turrican 2. I mean, like...
Mega Turrican?
Mega Turrican.
Oh!
I mean, it's great. And the last one I brought was, the Castlevania Collection.
The what? Oh, Castlevania. Yeah.
Castlevania 1, 2, 3, 4, Bloodlines, Castlevania Avenger, Kid Dracula, and Belmont's Revenge.
Damn,
I mean,
like
you can't,
7 games on there.
It really is like a phenomenal console for retro gaming.
I love it. And it's a way to have all these great old school experiences. It'd be nice if they made the Cruis'n trilogy. That kind of makes sense.
It would, honestly. I mean, they were 64 exclusive, and you could upscale it pretty comfortably because there's already arcade ports. You just have to port the arcade versions, and they would run great.
Yeah.
Cruis'n, as far as I know, it's Still exclusive to Nintendo, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Blast
the
is,
Cruis'n
yeah.
Blast, yeah.
Yeah, they only made it on Switch, but. So, anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. What would really help the podcast
Phenomenal, AJ Styles.
is if you could,
All right, random AJ Styles shout out.
if you could throw us a subscribe, it would be really great to help us get our landing page.
Saying
Throw us a like.
phenomenal.
Tell a friend about the
AJ
podcast.
Styles.
If you guys like going into and your friends like going into the old school stuff and really kind of digging in deep. This is the place for it. We hope you guys are enjoyed it and share the love. We want to share this message with as many old school gamers as we can, and we appreciate you guys being here. Remember that all good things come from above and start from above. Be safe, be happy, be healthy, and as always,
keep it turbo.
you heard the 7.